This is a subject which has, over the last several years, become more and more controversial. That being the over-representation of black and gay people in the media, specifically within the advertising sector. For those who dare to speak out or indeed criticise this growing trend, the threat of being called a racist or homophobic runs large. So then, why would I risk myself discussing such a topic? For me, more than anything else, it's about hypocrisy. The hypocrisy of the left, talking endlessly about equality, but only for certain groups, those groups being black people, Asian people, those of varying sexual orientation and gender identities, as well as women of any colour. If you happen to be a white male, or indeed disabled, then your group representation decreases somewhat. So in today's video, I'll be delving deeper into this subject and giving you my thoughts and analysis. I will chiefly cover advertising, i.e. TV adverts, but will occasionally delve into other media genres. What inspired me to make this video was an article written by Simi Gill, Senior Digital Account Manager at The Kite Factory. For those who don't know, The Kite Factory is an advertising agency based in London, UK. It states that it's a free-thinking media agency for brands with big plans. Their website further states that we enhance reach, reputation and revenue by giving brands the best in heart, art and science. We go the extra mile to understand your world and collaborate to create market-leading strategies anchored in intelligent data. Okay, so I've digressed a little. Let's get back on the article, which was written on 20th of November 2020. Simi Gill speaks glowingly about the Sainsbury's Christmas advert, which included actors of various ethnicities. He said that he loved the advert, but due to the mixed ethnicities, he expected the advert would garner lots of complaints. From white people, my italics there. But he doesn't go as far as to actually say white people, even though that's what he meant. He writes, but sadly I wasn't surprised to see that Sainsbury's received a huge amount of negative feedback online, with many slamming the advert for not being representative of Britain. In fact, after I had watched the ad and had thoughts of appreciation for how great it was, I instantly thought this will get complaints. Beyond the criticisms, people have even claimed they are boycotting the supermarket giant because, apparently, their need to be racist is more important than their need for food. Simi Gill regurgitates some comments he's apparently seen online regarding the Sainsbury's advert. He states, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. We'll be switching channels every time this ad comes on. Well done Sainsbury's for jumping on the bandwagon. Good advert. Looking forward to seeing the UK version. Well done Sainsbury's. You've managed to completely alienate the few remaining white customers you still had. Black represents 4% of the population, but you've ignored the other 96%. Good call. Simi Gill fails to state where he appropriated these comments from, though I'm guessing Twitter. He continues with, this highlights a huge issue that is still very much alive in the UK advertising industry. We are still not in a place where a company can proudly air an advert that features an all non-white cast who live in Britain without receiving backlash, disgust and anger. He quotes these statistics. A recent survey from Channel 4 highlighted that a total of 51% of black, Asian and other minority ethnic people feel that UK television advertising does not represent different cultures, with this figure rising to 62% when asked whether black and brown cultures. Black and brown cultures? Really? What the hell is a black or brown culture? I didn't think cultures had a colour. My goodness. He goes on, we're poorly misrepresented in advertising. This is in comparison to just 38% of white people agreeing with this second question. Well, of course, people of black, Asian and other minority groups will seek further representation in general. Why wouldn't they? But I'll throw this out there. Let's say aliens did come to live in the UK, 1,000 little green aliens. If we featured one of them in every other advert, that would be a massive over-representation compared to the rest of society, the other 67 million of us. This chap concludes with, I hope we can all do our part in supporting and celebrating the inclusion of black, Asian and other ethnicities on our screens. I hope the Twitter trolls continue to get shut down by companies they are attacking and the Ofcom complaints get ignored. My word. This just sums everything up, doesn't it? He's calling for nothing short of the silencing of those who have differing opinions via social media giants, shutting them down effectively. And he's advocating that those who complain should be ignored. And not just ignored, but ignored by Ofcom. Joseph Goebbels, the head of Nazi propaganda in the Second World War, will be proud. What makes this silly and somewhat dangerous comment more contentious is the fact that silencing voices online creates a wider gulf between people of varying opinions. It always has. It doesn't make things any better. A lack of discourse just makes things worse. The other interesting aspect here is that for someone who apparently works for an advertising agency to then promote the ignoring of difficult and challenging complaints seems to run contrary to business logic. What business ignores complaints? He finishes his diatribe with, "It's a sad fact that these communities have only ever known and seen all white casts, and have had to accept this as the norm and the reality of Britain, being made to feel invisible for years. Being part of this positive change shouldn't mean the brand company is seen as trying too hard or jumping on the bandwagon. Adverts should be a representative place for all who live in the UK and all who contribute to our society." Now I'm going to show you an image of the Kite Factory's key managers. Here we go. You will notice that they are all white. Indeed, 9 of the 12 are white males, with only 3 women. I fail to see where the ethnic representation continues over from the imagined world of fictional advertising to the real one. Now, whilst I'm generalising, it's hard not to say that this seems to typify the white wokery, who act like social crusaders, say all the right things, have passionate opinions, but fail to live the dream. I took a look further into the Kite Factory's website, which from the home screen had 5 main subpages. 3 of the subpages showed images of people of non-white ethnicity, with 2 subpages white women. Not a white man to be seen. Yet Simi Gill stated, "Adverts should be a representative place for all who live in the UK and all who contribute to our society." This is the kind of hypocrisy I was talking about. Sheer hypocrisy. Anyway, I accessed the gov.com website and took a look at the results from the 2011 census. The data for the 2021 census was not yet available. It shows that Asians make up 7.5% of the population, black people 3.3%, mixed ethnicities 2.2%, white 86%, and others 1%. But to be honest with you, I hardly ever see Asian people represented in TV advertising. I do see lots of black people and white women, but that's not a scientific measurement, of course. That's just my perception. A Times article titled "Gays and Ethnic Identities Overrepresented on TV" stated that black and ethnic minority people make up 13% of the population, but represent 23% of the on-screen roles. It goes on to state that overrepresentation is particularly stark on drama programmes where ethnic minority actors win more than a quarter, 26.4% of parts, as well as children's TV, 30.3%, and comedies, 24.9%. Lesbian, gay and bisexual people are nearly twice as likely to appear on television, where they take 11.9% of roles, than would be expected by their estimated 6.4% share of the national population. The article goes on to show that disabled people get just 7.8% of on-screen jobs, while being 17% of the population. But then that's not really surprising, is it? Seeing that being disabled fails to trigger the wokesters into action. Let's face it, black people and women of any ethnicity are largely overrepresented in social media and advertising of all genres. This is the right time to be a female or black actor, but not so good if you happen to be disabled or a white male, especially those of the straight gender-specific variety. Some might argue that it doesn't really matter what colour or gender you are. They might also argue that certain ethnicities might never be seen in advertising due to small numbers, and so on. I argue differently. Overrepresentation amounts to over-reaffirming one group over another, one religion over another, one culture over another, one gender over another. It fails to create a societal balance by neglecting one group over another. It creates a false narrative of society. So what can be done to reset the balance, to have real equality and truthful representation? As things stand, the threat of having our voices silenced or simply being ignored is real. So we need to be smart. We need to comment whenever we can, to quote truthful statistics, to point out that it is indeed racist and sexist to overpromote one group above another. We need to turn the woke ideology on itself. Sitting silent and hoping that somebody else will do the hard work isn't enough. We need to stand together to make for a fairer society for all. That's it. I've had enough. The Conservative one, signing off.